Terrifying rules uncovered at our haunted mountain base, survival in sinister shadows awaits. Tara Sinclair stood at the threshold of her new life, a life she never wanted but was forced to embrace. The cabin loomed ahead, weathered and worn, yet it whispered of promise. Pine trees danced ominously in the breeze as if warning her to turn back. The shadows flickered and creaked like a horror film set, the kind that haunts your nightmares. With her 2 children, innocent Lucas and fiercely protective Mia, she stepped into the darkness. Little did she know, within these walls were secrets ready to consume them. Inside, the air was heavy. Dust hung like a veil, and the walls were marred with strange, jagged markings. Ominous rules bled into existence: respect the mountain. Beware the shadows. The chill in the air crawled up her spine. At first, she scoffed at what she assumed were local superstitions, but unease filled her veins. Clicks and thuds echoed at night, igniting panic that pulsed in time with her racing heart. They were not alone. Mr. Grady, the neighbor, had a polite smile that unnerved her. Each unannounced visit made Tara's skin crawl. His eyes lingered a moment too long on Lucas, and the way he leaned in almost conspiratorially over lemonade made Tara's stomach twist. A sickening dread settled deep inside her. One evening, trying to shake the shadows of fear, Tara suggested a hike with her kids. The sun dipped slowly, casting eerie shapes through the trees. With every rustle of leaves, Tara's stomach tightened. Lucas, with his endless curiosity, darted ahead. "Catch me, Mom." He laughed, his voice echoing. Then, silence shattered the laughter. Lucas was gone. Frantic, she and Mia called out, their voices swallowed by an ominous stillness. Panic seized Tara's chest as they combed the woods, calling his name into the darkening trees. The silence wrapped around them, heavy and suffocating. Time blurred, but fear sharpened. Desperate tears burned at Mia's eyes as they rushed back home, their last hope. Inside the cabin, while searching for clues, Mia knelt by a worn floorboard. With trembling hands, she pried it open. The sight made her stomach churn. A hidden compartment filled with faded photographs of smiling families, all with one horrifying detail: newspaper clippings reporting their mysterious disappearances intertwined with strange relics. Mia's hand shook as she pulled out an old charm, covered in dirt and darkened by secrets. "Mom!" she gasped, heart racing. When Tara arrived, shocked recognition hit her. Where are all these people? Something sinister nested in the corners of her mind. This place was not merely a cabin, it was a prison of lost souls. In her frantic desperation, Tara called the local sheriff, but the response was tepid, dismissive. He muttered about kids being kids, but the words tasted like betrayal. A chill crawled down her spine. Dark forces shrouded the mountain, and the townsfolk were complicit. With each question, she felt the weight of 1,000 eyes upon her, unseen but ever watchful. Before we continue, I need to tell you something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to their system and many people are missing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and select all notifications so you don't miss future videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. That night, Tara clutched the jagged rules like a lifeline. Each howl that echoed through the trees pierced her soul. This was more than survival, it was a reckoning. The shadows crept closer, and the darkness whispered of despair. A figure lurked at the edge of the woods, watching. Heart pounding, Tara understood, the real danger was not just the mountain but the people who smiled too widely, their intentions wrapped in sinister secrets. Who would save them before it was too late? Tara awoke to a suffocating silence. The cabin, steeped in darkness, felt like a living entity, breathing heavily around her. She fought against the urge to hide under the covers. Lucas was still missing. Every fiber of her being screamed to find him. Mia was already awake, pacing the dim living room, her eyes darting nervously toward the windows. "Mom, we need to go back to the woods," she insisted, her voice trembling but resolute. Tara's heart sank at the thought, but she couldn't deny the urgency in Mia's tone. "Not yet. We need a plan." Tara's reply was shaky, an echo of her fear. As Mia scoured the forgotten corners of the cabin for any hint of Lucas, Tara's gaze landed on the hidden charm Mia had discovered. It had slipped from her grip and lay on the floor, dirt clinging to it like an ominous stain. She picked it up, turning it over in her palm. What if it held the key to understanding this wretched place? Suddenly, a loud crash echoed through the cabin, sending both of them jumping. It came from the back, where the old wooden door creaked in the cold night air. Heart racing, Tara clenched Mia's hand and stepped cautiously toward the noise. The door swung open an inch, revealing nothing but the gloom outside. "Hello?" Tara called, her voice echoing back like a taunt. Out of the corner of her eye, she saw something darting off into the trees. It was quick, a shadow blending seamlessly with the darkness. Panic surged, and she screamed, "Lucas!" A whisper floated on the night air, just beyond the trees. It was his voice, faint and distant. "Mom! Mia, wait here." Tara could hardly breathe, running toward the sound. Each step into the woods was a step deeper into the unknown, the branches clawing at her as if trying to reclaim her. "Tara!" Mia called from behind, her voice strained with fear. But Tara pressed on, desperation fueling her. She burst through the thicket, calling Lucas's name again and again. The eerie silence consumed her, stretching out the seconds into an eternity. The shadows seemed to shift, swirling around her like a dark mist. And then, she felt a presence, cold and oppressive, looming just behind her. Tara turned, but nothing was there. Only the whispering of the mountain, urging her to abandon her search. "Mom!" Lucas cried out. Tara's heart dropped, he was close. "Lucas!" She shouted, her voice cracking. She pushed through the underbrush, branches tearing at her clothes, skin scraped. "Where are you?" Ahead, she spotted a glimmer of pale light, flickering like a candle against the night. It drew her in, a moth to a flame. She approached, hesitating for just a moment when she saw shadows flitting past her in the beam of light. Shapes seemed to move around, human and not, merging into one. Tara's instincts screamed at her to retreat, but dread had taken root in her heart. The flicker grew brighter and suddenly, she was standing at an old stone altar. The markings she had seen in the cabin were carved deep into the stone, glowing eerily. Above it, she saw her son, a figure in the shadow, arms and legs bound with creeping vines. "No! Lucas!" Tara lunged forward. As she reached for him, the shadows around the altar whipped up violently, swirling around her and pulling her back. Terror erupted within her, she could barely breathe. From the depths of the shadows, she heard Mr. Grady's voice, smooth and mocking. "You shouldn't have meddled, now they'll come for you." Tara's heart raced as her eyes widened, the darkness closing in. Her head spun, everything was crumbling away. She had to save Lucas, but the shadows were relentless, suffocating. Just when it seemed like all hope was lost, a blinding light ignited from the charm Mia had found. It pulsed with energy, illuminating the woods in a bright, ghostly haze. The shadows recoiled as if burned. But could it be enough to save them? "Mom!" "The charm!" Mia shouted, her voice slicing through the din of terror. In that moment, Tara realized, the only way to fight back was to confront the mountain's deadly secret. Could she break the cycle, or would they all become another name? On the altar of the mountain? The wind howled, and shadows flickered in and out, revealing a sight that sent chills up her spine. A collective of lost souls, standing behind Lucas, their hollow eyes filled with longing and despair. What was this place really? And how could they escape? As her fingers clutched the charm tighter, Tara took a deep breath, poised to fight back against the darkness. But would it bring them closer to salvation or deeper into the abyss? The light from the charm pulsed, illuminating the terrifying faces of the lost souls. Tara felt every muscle in her body tense as the brightness flickered, struggling against the encroaching darkness. The shadows danced like a macabre ballet, shifting and swirling, hungry for her fear. "Stay close, Mia!" Tara shouted, panic clawing at her throat. She took a step toward the altar but felt the shadows tightening around her ankles like chains. "Mom, get back!" Mia screamed, her voice echoing with urgency behind her. Tara glanced back and saw her daughter clutching the charm, its glow flickering more steadily, but the air was thickening, the weight of despair pressing against them both. Above the altar, Lucas hung limply, bound and pale. "Mom, help!" His voice was barely a whisper, a mere thread of sound reaching her through the chaos. The sight of him plunged Tara's heart into ice. She couldn't let fear swallow her whole, she felt the stakes rising higher than ever. "No! I'm coming!" Tara cried, drawing on the glow of the charm. Summoning every ounce of strength, she lunged forward. The shadows screeched, their chill claiming her skin. It felt as if they were scraping against her will, attempting to push her back into despair. As she reached for Lucas, the shadows recoiled, as if the charm had burned them. For a fleeting moment, they hesitated. Tara seized the chance. "Lucas, I'm here. I want to let go. Stay away from him." A voice boomed from the shadows. It was Mr. Grady, shadow taking form, his features twisted and ghastly. "The price for meddling is steep." "Price?" Tara shouted, forcing herself to remain steady, but she could feel the tremors shooting through her fingertips. "What do you want?" The apparition only laughed, a sound that sent daggers of fear through her. "You must choose. Relinquish your bond, or embrace the darkness." He gestured to the souls surrounding them, lost and tormented. Tara's mind raced. "No. I want to choose." In a moment of pure desperation, she raised the charm high, the light flaring as if it knew the stakes. "I choose to save my son." The shadows shrieked and churned violently, a storm of hatred unleashed. Tara saw faces among them, lost spirits, worn and weary. "You cannot save him without sacrificing what you hold dear." They screeched, their voices blending into a chorus of lamentation. Tara's heart sank. Could it be true? The thought of losing Mia was suffocating. The gleam of the charm dimmed slightly in her grasp. Could she sacrifice one child to save the other? The pain of despair twisted in her gut. "Mom, no. Don't listen to them." Mia screamed, the charm flickering weakly. Tara's heart was a battleground. She pressed forward with a fierce determination. "I will not let fear bind us. We are stronger together." With a sudden surge of defiance, she threw the charm at the altar. Light erupted, brighter than ever, forcing the shadows back and wrapping Lucas in its glow. He gasped, the vines loosening their grip. "Emoam!" Lucas shouted as he became untangled, his eyes wild with fear and hope. The shadows shrieked, twisting into a frenzy. Tara felt the shadows retreating behind her, but now, they were enraged. The brightness was a weakness they feared. Tara's heart raced, and the terror surged anew. "Lucas! Grab my hand." He reached out, but the waves of darkness crashed against them, pulling him back. It felt like a cold hand clutching around Tara's heart. The souls gathered, their hollow eyes locking onto Tara, their lost energy fueling the shadows. "Together!" she yelled, holding Mia's arm tight. But the intensity of the shadows was shifting, threatening to swallow them whole. If the charm's light grew dim, would they all be lost to the mountain's curse? "Mom! We need to get out." Those words rattled through her. They needed to escape, but could the charm hold against the darkness forever? Sweat dripped down Tara's back as she glanced at the altar and back to her children. What was the truth behind this sinister place, and would it allow them to leave? Could they overcome this nightmare together, or would they become part of the shadowy landscape, forever bound in darkness? With the eerie realization pressing down on her, Tara understood that they were running out of time. Tara's heart pounded like a war drum in her chest, an urgent rhythm against the suffocating grip of darkness. The air felt electric, charged with an unseen threat as the shadows lunged toward them, furious shrieks echoing off the ancient stones. "Hold on, Mia!" she shouted, squeezing her daughter's hand harder. The charm was dimming, flickering like an old light bulb on the verge of burning out. "Mom!" Mia's voice trembled. "What if it goes out?" Tara glanced at Lucas, his eyes wide and filled with fear, yet a glimmer of hope refused to fade. "We will figure it out. Just stay close." With a fierce resolve, she tugged Mia forward, the charm illuminating the swirling shadows long enough for them to see the altar in its cursed detail, the macabre carvings, the inscriptions that twisted and warped under the light of the charm. Suddenly, the shadows pulsed, coiling back and gathering into a grotesque shape. Mr. Grady's form emerged, towering over them, twisted features etched in a grotesque smirk. "You think light can save you?" he hissed, fingers clawing through the darkness. Tara felt the cold slither of despair seep into her bones. "What do you want?" "Let my son go!" she screamed, her voice echoing, swallowing the gaunt echoes around her. The shadows writhed hungrily, eager for her fear. "Give him to me," Grady snapped, the command slashing through the air. "Or watch as the shadows consume everything you cherish." "No!" Tara shouted, shaking with fury. "I want to sacrifice my child." The light from the charm flickered violently, responding to her anger. It pulsed as if alive, illuminating the lost souls around them, their faces turned towards her, yearning and twisted in unheeded longing. Some whispered warnings, others screamed in agony. "Forget them!" Mia cried. "We can't listen." But Tara could almost taste the bitterness of their haunting stories, threads of sorrow linking her to these lost souls. Were they mothers, fathers, sons? How many had faced a choice just like hers? The ground beneath her seemed to tremble, resonating with the shadow's anger. "Mom!" Lucas shrieked as the binding around him tightened again, dragging him back. "Please!" Tara's heart was a mess of terror and resolve. "Lucas, hold on. I'm coming." Mia's eyes were pools of fear and determination as she clutched the charm tighter, its glow flaring back to life, flickering defiantly against the pressure mounting around them. Tara felt a new surge of energy. The charm sensed their unity, their bond fighting against the encroaching darkness. "Together!" Tara yelled, her voice breaking through the chaos. "We are stronger together." The synergy of their hope ignited the charm's luminescence. The shadows screamed, recoiling as if scalded, their edges shimmering with malevolence. But just as victory flickered on the edge of their grasp, the shadows surged again, angry and restless. "Choose!" came Grady's voice, booming with an authority that chilled her to the marrow. "Let one join us willingly, and the rest may escape." "No!" Tara screamed, the weight of her choice crushing her. "One for the whole?" What kind of twisted bargain was this? The souls screamed in agony, their voices wrapping around her like chains. "You must choose." "No." Tara breathed, her mind racing. What if one of them sacrificed themselves? Would it turn the tide? She looked at Lucas and Mia, their faces pale and terrified, but resolute. "I will never choose." Yet the shadows, fueled by desperation, surged forward, crashing against the charm's light. The air thickened, pressing down on her. Time slipped like sand. Would any choice save them? The shadows loomed closer, threatening to swallow them whole. And as Tara felt that chilling grip close around her throat, she had a realization: what if the shadows thrived on despair, on sorrow? Could she turn their own weapon against them, using the pain they sought to harvest? Time was running out. With a frantic glance to Mia and Lucas, a plan coalesced in her mind, one that might offer them a chance, if she had the courage to follow through. But would the cost be too high? Would her desperate gamble end in their despair, or could it unleash a hidden power to break the chains of the cursed mountain? The ground trembled beneath them, and Tara felt the shadows inching closer. The darkness held no mercy, only twisted fates awaited in the folds of its sinister embrace. What lay ahead would determine not just their survival, but their very souls. The choice loomed heavy, and the shadows seemed to whisper of darker bargains yet to be made. Tara's chest tightened. Time was slipping away. The shadows, no, they weren't just shadows anymore. They were alive, feeding off her fear. She could feel their darkness whispering tantalizing horrors, promising the fate of Lucas and Mia if she failed. The warmth of the charm flickered weaker, a dying ember in an encroaching storm. "Focus on me," Tara shouted, pleading with her children. "We can't let them win. We have to fight." She saw Mia's unwavering determination, her little face scrunched in concentration. Lucas, filled with desperate terror, looked from his mother to his sister, caught in a maelstrom of their tattered bond. Tara tightened her grip. "Listen closely," she continued, her voice shaking with urgency. "We need to fight the shadows with what we've got." The grasping fingers of the darkness snaked closer, emanating a cold that seeped into their bones. "Think of your happiest memory. Let their power erode against our love." Mia shouted the first memory that came to her. "The day we went to the beach. Remember, Mom? The sun, the waves." "Yes," Tara encouraged, feeling the warmth of the recollection clash against the freezing horror surrounding them. "And Lucas? Think of the time we made that silly fort together. Remember how we laughed?" She could see the barricade of darkness hesitating, as if it sensed a flicker of light, a glimmer of hope that the shadows didn't understand. Clinging to their memories, Tara risked glancing at Grady, the twisted ghost of a man who had become nothing but pure malevolence. "You think your joy matters here?" he jeered, his voice slithered silk against steel. "It only makes the meal taste sweeter." The air thickened with a soundless scream, the shadows pulled back momentarily, sensing the shift, their hunger lingering frustrated. Tara breathed in, pushing through the rising tide of despair washing over her. "Together!" she shouted again, clenching Mia's hand, then squeezing Lucas's wrist. "Let that day at the beach be our shield." Light surged from the charm, their memories intertwining, creating a shield of warmth against the encroaching void. The shadows shrieked, their wails rising as the warmth began to burn against the dark. But Grady's eyes flickered with annoyance, then a cunning smile crossed his twisted lips. "Ah, but the shadows are crafty. Memories can be double-edged. Each joyous moment draws strength. How about a taste of sorrow? A little nostalgia twisted just right?" A sudden jolt of dread coursed through Tara. Suddenly, she saw glimpses in the darkness, images of her own failures, moments she regretted. The echoes of lost time wrapped around her like noxious vines, pulling her toward despair. "Mom!" screamed Mia as shadows clawed at Tara's ankles, tugging her back, threatening to unfurl her into the depths of their darkness. "Don't let them in!" Lucas cried, horrified, as he clutched Mia with trembling hands. Tara gritted her teeth, anchoring herself to her children. "Fight back. Focus on the joy. We have so much love among us, it makes us stronger than they realize." They shouted, memories replacing bitterness. The shadows wavered, retreated, but Grady did not let go. "No. You will not escape your fate so easily," he growled, and suddenly, Tara felt an ice-cold finger touch her spine, sending her into a spin of icy panic. Mom! Mia's voice was a desperate wail, full of piercing terror. The darkness thickened, curling around them once more, sticky and stifling. Tara was losing ground. No! This can't be it. With a sudden spark of rebellion, she remembered the stories of past victims, the others who had lost their battles. No more. She snarled, tightening her perimeter against the infiltrating dark. You won't take my children. As if hearing her defiance, the shadows recoiled violently. Tara noticed the charm pulsed with renewed strength, the golden glow intensifying against the dreadful dark of Mr. Grady and his hungry shadows. But could it last? She could feel the weight of a terrible choice lingering in the air. Would this gamble of unity hold? Or would another sacrifice be demanded? The shadows hissed, a chorus of swirling darkness that pulsated with anger. This was just the beginning. What terrible price had she just invoked? The weight of fear settled heavily. But just then, something shifted in Lucas's eyes. And Mom? What if we trust the memories? What if we go beyond them? Tara's heart seized. What did he mean? What would that unleash? The shadows surged forward again, relentless, and Tara felt a pulse of dread and hope crash together, uncertain of which would prevail. Could this be the accidental key to their escape, or would it unlock further horror? The choice was slipping again, and the shadows were right at their heels. Tara's heart raced, the uncertainty twisting her stomach into knots. What did Lucas mean by trusting the memories? The shadows curled around them, hungry and relentless, suffocating and dark. She needed answers, but the chaos engulfing them provided none. And Mom? Lucas stammered again, his voice barely cutting through the oppressive air. What if we dig deeper? What if we find the moments that hurt us the most? Maybe those are the ones we can fight with. Shivers crept down Tara's spine. Delving into pain? It felt like inviting the darkness to play, a gamble with no guarantee of victory. But in the face of terror, it was a path uncharted, potentially offering strength they hadn't tapped into yet. Grady's laugh danced around them, cold and mocking. You think you can twist sorrow into power? How quaint. You'll find it just as devouring as joy, you fools. His presence loomed larger, almost tangible, a storm cloud of bitterness awaiting its moment to strike. Tara hesitated, her thoughts racing. What memories could they conjure? What pain could be weaponized? The shadows whispered aggressively, sensing doubt, ready to pounce. Think, Lucas. Mia. She urged, her voice strained. What's the hardest moment you faced? What made you feel lost? Mia's brow furrowed with concentration. The time we moved. I hated leaving my friends. Keep going. Tara encouraged, feeling the darkness recoil slightly from the embers of their conversation. And when Dad left, Mia's voice trembled on the last words. Tara's breath hitched. That memory filled the air like a poison. The night her world fragmented, a marriage crumbling, a home feeling alien. But then she glanced at Lucas, his face pale but resolute as he found a connection. The night we found out about the accident, he whispered, almost to himself. When everything changed after the crash. It felt like our light went away. The air crackled as Tara's heart began to race, channeling the pain. It was a chasm that resonated with the shadows. The darkness shifted, as if considering their path, uncertainty brewing within its depths. Mom. That night, Lucas continued, fear sparking in his eyes. It was so heavy. But we still had each other, and there was hope in the wreckage. Tara shouted, finding strength in the blend of anguish. We survived, Lucas. We fought then, and we fight now. Filled with desperation, she braced against the creeping shadows tightening their grip. Let us harness it. Feel it. We take back power from our pain. As their memories collided into a unified force, a torrent of light cascaded from the charm, pushing back against the encroaching darkness with a flickering glow. But Grady's presence surged with fury, anguish morphing his form. Fools! You think pain embodies strength? You meddle with forces beyond your grasp. I will consume every last bit of your hope and despair. The shadows twisted in response, more aggressive now, swirling and coiling around Tara and her children. The light from the charm flickered erratically, warring against the mass of darkness. Together! Tara shouted into the tumult. Let us tear it apart. It can't overwhelm our love. The air vibrated with the tension of their memories, flaring hurt and healing intertwining like a dance. Tara felt the echoes of grief morphing, pulsing, turning into a weapon designed to pierce the heart of darkness. But still, the shadows screamed in retaliation, angry, sharp whispers clawing at the edges of her sanity. They surged forth, hungry and ravenous. Tara felt her grip on her own spirit waver as she caught a glimpse of Grady's twisted face, a mask of fury and desperation. Could they indeed channel the pain into strength, or would it tear them apart, revealing the fragile strands holding them together? Mia squeezed her hand tightly, whispering, "What if he's right? What if we're just making it worse?" Tara's heart dropped. Could the shadows twist their own fears against them? Could the route to power summon final despair instead? With the darkness barreling down, she fought against the tide threatening to overwhelm them. There was no turning back now, but just beyond the veil of shadows, Tara could feel the presence of something else, something hidden that pulsed with an unformed promise of victory or destruction. What was it? An ally? Or another trap laid by Grady? The truth was lurking, just out of reach, veiled in darkness, and time was running out. Tara's thoughts raced wildly, each second splintering her focus. The shadows pressed against her, suffocating, rasping with a hunger that seemed to deepen with every breath they took. The darkness pulsed, a rhythm that synced with her pounding heart, as though it were alive and anticipating her next move. "Mom!" Lucas shouted, his voice cut through the veil, trembling with a mix of fear and urgency. "What if we remember more? Maybe that's how we fight it." The ground trembled lightly beneath them. Tara felt a surge of adrenaline. If they were going to tap into the reservoir of pain, they had to do it right. She nodded fiercely, gripping her children's hands tight, feeling their warmth against the growing cold that surrounded them. "Yeah, what else?" she urged. "What else hurt?" Mia's eyes glazed over, steeling herself. The day at the funeral when no one wanted to talk about Dad. "We can do this," Tara shouted, her voice firm, pushing back against Grady's mocking laughter resonating around them. "Let us use that pain, let us draw strength from it." Grady's sneering face flickered in and out of view, his smirk widening, shadows extending from him like a dark wave. "You don't realize what you're inviting," he hissed. "Every memory you choose has teeth, claws, they'll rip your souls apart." Tara squeezed her children's hands hard enough to quell the doubt creeping into her own heart. "We're not afraid of you. We can remember without giving in." The shadows writhed and shimmered as Lucas now spoke up, setting his resolve. "The night of the fire we watched everything burn. Mom, we can't forget that. It felt like losing another part of ourselves." Pain ripped through her, but in that piercing hurt, she found clarity. They hadn't just lost, they had survived. That night, they had supported one another, forged bonds of resilience out of the flames. It was the same now. "Focus. Together." Tara commanded, her voice resonating with newfound strength. "Picture the fire. The loss. But also the survival. Let it surge." The air thickened, and their memories fused, unleashing a blinding light pulsating from the charm, illuminating the darkness like a raging inferno battling against a backing storm. Tara could feel the shadows recoiling, their voices swirling into a cacophony of panic. "It's working!" Mia exclaimed, her grip tightening. "Keep it going. The love we have is the fire." Lucas echoed, his eyes wide with fervor. Grady can't touch that. But Grady, undeterred, howled in rage, his angry silhouette twisting against the encroaching light. You think love can conquer darkness? You're so naive. I will feast upon your despair. Suddenly, in the commotion, Tara sensed something lurking just beyond the borders of light, a dark figure pulsating, waiting for the opportunity to strike. It felt sentient, as if it were gauging the balance of power. Mom, something else is coming. Lucas called out, his voice ringing with dread. The air shifted, tension spiraling into a new form, thick, heavy, oppressive. Just as Tara turned to face the new threat, she felt a chilling caress brush against her skin, cold and unnatural. Shadows swirled tighter, like a coiling serpent ready to strike. Her heart raced, panic clawing at her throat. What was this new presence? An ally meant to help them, or a deeper level of despair summoned by Grady's games? The darkness surged, pushing back against their light. Tara could feel the impending doom pressing against them like a weight. As the shadows swirled more violently, hope became a fragile ember at risk of snuffing out completely. Could they hold on? Could they uncover the truth of this new threat before it overpowered them? In that moment, shadows pulsed, and she saw it, the truth revealing itself, wrapping around her thoughts like a noose. What if, by uncovering pain, they had awakened something they weren't ready for? And in the darkest corner, lies the question that hung threateningly in the air: how could they fight the darkness without being consumed by it? The shadows convulsed violently, their movement resembling the roiling sea during a storm. Tara squeezed her children's hands tighter as the chilling presence seemed to ripple through the air, wrapping itself around her like a suffocating blanket. The light they had summoned shivered as if it, too, feared what was creeping closer. What is it? Mia whimpered, her voice barely a whisper, trembling like a flickering candle. I don't like this, Mom. Her heart rattled in her chest, the strength she felt moments ago now wavering under the weight of the dark figure's surge. The shadows, once chaotic whispers, started forming shapes, glimpses of faces twisted in pain, lost souls desperately clawing their way through the darkness. Focus on the love. Tara yelled, her voice straining against the oppressive gloom. Remember why we're fighting. But Grady's laughter pierced through like a knife. How adorable, Tara. You think your little light can hold back the darkness that feeds on despair? You'll learn its true power. The moment he spoke, a cacophony of anguished screams erupted from the shadows. Tara felt it clawing at her mind, dredging up the deepest fears she had long buried. A vision flashed in front of her, flames licking higher as a figure emerged from the smoke, a shadowy outline of her husband, his eyes filled with torment and regret. No! She cried, shaking her head, trying to cast away the memory. She had to stay strong for her kids. But Lucas gripped her hand fiercely, catching her gaze. Mom, don't forget him. Remember how he fought for us. We can't deny any part of our story. Tara nodded, accepting the truth in Lucas' words. An empowering fire reignited inside her, pushing away the swirling mist, but with it came the heat of past pain. Grady's laughter turned to fury, the sightings of lost souls thrumming louder, becoming dissonant, suffocating. Look at them. They want you. They crave your pain. Grady taunted, the shadows swirling dangerously close, their voices rising in a sorrowful chorus. You can't handle this. You're weakening. Mia screamed now, her eyes wide with terror, seeing through the veil of darkness into the depths of suffering, despair manifesting before them. We can't let them take us. She yelled, her small voice rising above the din. Tara felt that coldness again, creeping toward her vulnerable heart. It was wrapping around each broken piece, each moment of vulnerability. Was this the darker presence they had summoned? Drawing together all her maternal instincts, Tara focused. She turned to Lucas and Mia, their faces now mere outlines in the growing night. Remember the laughter. The simple joys in the midst of pain. Hold on to those. With every ounce of strength, they joined hands again, the light flickering at first, then beginning to pulsate more brightly. Tara could feel a heartbeat, an echo of hope that grew louder, matching her resolve. The darkness hesitated, swirling like smoke, struggling against their newfound strength. Tara saw the dismay in the shadows as their anguished faces contorted in fear, wavering at the edge of the light. "See? You can't break us!" she screamed, feeling the energy surge, pushing back against Grady's mockery. "We've lost, but we've also fought." But just as she felt a moment of victory, the shadows lurched forward, more aggressive, more menacing. The figure lurking in the corner surged ahead, its outline now taking a distinctly monstrous form, grotesque and dripping with despair. Tara's heart sank as she realized this wasn't just about Grady anymore. It was something deeper, darker, feeding off their vulnerability. "Mom!" Lucas shouted as the figure drew closer, an inky silhouette ready to strike, its eyes glowing with malicious intent. And then Tara understood the terrifying truth. They had awakened the core of their fears, but this malignant force wasn't just within the shadows. It lurked in their own memories, and it was hungry. Could they harness their light in time, or was it already too late? Was their past now their greatest enemy? As the darkness lunged forward, Tara and her children seemed to blur into the chaos, left wondering if they could truly fight off what they had called forth, or would they be devoured whole by their own history. Tara's breath hitched as the monstrous figure advanced, its shape shifting and writhing like a nightmare made flesh. The eyes glowing in the darkness pierced through her. They weren't just eyes, but portals to anguish and despair, taunting her with unfathomable memories. "Stay close," she shouted, trying to sound strong, but her voice quivered like a taut string ready to snap. Lucas and Mia stood firm, yet she could see the dread pooling in their eyes, fear creeping into their bones. The shadows rallied, a swirling storm around them, clamoring loudly, drowning out their hopes. Tara felt the weight of her past clinging to her, see his fires, her husband's tortured face rising like the smoke, each image igniting a fresh wave of despair. "We can do this," Tara whispered, but the resolve in her heart faltered. Grady's laughter echoed ominously, vibrating through the darkness. "You are surrounded by your weaknesses. How can you possibly win?" Mia squeezed her mother's hand, her small face a canvas of determination painted over fear. "We won't let them win. We have to remember, Mom." The words ignited something within Tara. Memories flooded back, laughter shared around the dinner table, the warmth of her husband's embrace, the gentleness of a loving touch. They could be her weapon, her shield. Gathering her courage, she focused on the light, willing it to grow brighter, stronger. The shadows coalesced, and she sensed a shift as their cries rose to a fever pitch. The faces twisted in anguish became more distinct, each one a reflection of her deepest worries and fears. But instead of drawing her into despair, they sparked a rage in her that had long been suppressed. "Enough!" she bellowed at the swirling mists. "You won't take my family. You don't own our pain." The light pulsed around them, defiant and fierce. For a moment, the shadows flickered as if hesitating, and Tara seized that opening. "Remember the love," she urged, her voice ringing clear amid the chaos. "It's stronger than any fear. We are not alone." With that declaration, she urged Lucas and Mia to join her, their hands gripping tighter. Together, they summoned the memories, the laughter, the love, channeling it into a single point of brilliant light. It expanded like a rising sun, illuminating the darkness surrounding them. But the sinister figure recoiled, howling, its form blurring and writhing as the light expanded. Yet even as the light pushed back, flickers of doubt lingered in Tara's mind. Was it truly enough? Could memory alone fend off this horror? Grady's face twisted in rage as his shadows lunged desperately, clawing against the light. "You think you can escape your fate? This is only the beginning." And then, with a swift and violent motion, the figure lunged again, the shadows throwing themselves against the light. The blast of energy surged, pushing back with unbelievable might, yet it felt like holding back a tidal wave. They were losing ground, and Tara could feel the chill creeping back in, tightening around her heart. "Mom!" Lucas shouted, his voice strained. "It's fighting back." Panic coiled in Tara's gut as she struggled against the dark tide. She glanced at Mia, whose expression mirrored her own fear interlaced with fierce resolve. "Hold on. Just a little longer," Tara urged, desperation flooding her voice. But as the shadows pressed forward, a flicker of something non-human flickered in the creature's eyes, a flash of recognition mingled with malice. It was no longer just a monster of shadow, but a twisted reflection of something they feared to confront, their own forsaken truths. The ground trembled underfoot, and an unnatural wind spiraled around them, threatening to snuff out the light. Tara's heart raced, and within that chaotic moment, she understood what if the real fight wasn't just against the darkness surrounding them, but within their souls. Could they truly wrestle their history into submission, or would they be forever lost in the shadows of their past? As the darkness surged, Tara felt her grip slipping, the light dimming, consumed by the oppressive force. And then, an unexpected voice echoed in the chaos, slicing through the tension like glass. "What if I told you I can help?" The question hung heavy in the air, a thread of fate that could tilt the battle one way or the other. But who was speaking, and what would their true intentions reveal? Tara's heart raced. "What do you mean?" She called into the swirling shadows, a shiver running down her spine as the dark figures hesitated, momentarily confused. A figure began to emerge from the darkness, illuminated by the residual glow of the charm. It was a woman, her features familiar yet worn from years of torment. Tara's breath hitched. It was Anna, her late friend from years ago, whose disappearance had haunted her every night since. "I can help you break this cycle." Anna's voice was soft yet echoed with a depth of understanding, as if she carried the weight of countless souls within her. "But you must face your past and embrace the pain together. Only then can you free your son and yourself." Tara trembled, disbelieving yet desperate. "How? They'll consume us." "No. They thrive on your fear and division," Anna urged, stepping forward, the shadows faltering at her presence. "You must unify your memories. Our struggles can illuminate the darkest paths, and through them, you'll find strength." "Unify them?" Lucas echoed, an inkling of hope in his voice. "Yes. Your love binds you. The shadows want you afraid, divided. They feed on despair, but they despise the light you possess when you join hearts." A surge of clarity washed over Tara. In that moment, she understood. The real battle wasn't just about confronting Grady or the lurking shadow figure, it was about intertwining joy and sorrow, cherishing each experiences as part of their stories. Together, Tara urged, fear and hope blending seamlessly into resolve. "We have to weave our pain and memories into one strong thread." Mia, tears glistening in her eyes, nodded. "Let us do it, Mom. We've faced so much. I remember Dad laughing with us by the riverside. We can show the shadows love. Together." Tara shouted, holding their hands tightly, feeling their warmth against the overwhelming cold of despair trying to encroach upon them. "Let us trust one another." As the shadows hammered against their radiant circle of light, Tara began to remember. The agony of loss turned into a vision of resilience. The fear of abandonment metamorphosed into unwavering support. Each painful moment began to pulse with energy, connecting their hearts, knitting together fear and strength until they felt invincible. "Embrace it," Anna urged, a mentor guiding them through depths of darkness. "Feel the past and rise above it." Magic crackled in the air. The charm blazed bright, intensifying as their memories poured together, picturing laughter shared in the middle of loss, grief juxtaposed with love. The ground began to tremble again, but this time the tremors felt different, as if the mountain itself begrudgingly acknowledged their combined strength. The shadows screeched, thinning under the wave of unified light. Tara felt a powerful surge, the warmth of their memories colliding with the suffocating cold of the shadows, driving them back. "It's working!" Lucas shouted, his eyes bright with exhilaration. "Yes. Keep pushing!" Tara screamed, finding her voice tethered to that shared strength. The shadowy figure's form began to dissolve, lost within the tide of light as Grady's mocking laughter turned to howls of agony, swallowed by the cleansing light. "Your bond is fragile," Grady screeched in a final attempt to drown them with despair. But they were no longer fragile. They were woven from joy and pain, the fabric of their lives illuminating the shadows. They pushed forward, their combined love creating an almost tangible force. With their one final shout together, the light burst forth, engulfing the shadows in a brilliant wave. As darkness receded into shrieks of anguish, Tara felt a warmth that radiated through her, freeing her and her children from the oppressive mountain's grip. They fell to their knees, gasping, the relentless shadows finally fleeing until they evaporated entirely. In that moment of silence, a transformative peace washed over them, filling the spaces once held by darkness. As the sun began to rise over the treetops, illuminating the cabin in golden light, Tara looked at her children, their faces radiant with relief. They were free. "Mom." Lucas's voice was soft, full of wonder. "Did we really do it?" "Yes," Tara said, hugging them fiercely. "We did it. Together." The weight of the mountain lifted, shadows lingering only in memories now, reminders of their journey, not just a record of pain, but testament to their strength. Each bond, each light shared in memory, glimmered like stars across the night sky. Turning away from the cabin and its secrets, they stepped toward the dawn, hand in hand, ready to embrace a future unburdened by fear. They wouldn't forget the shadows they couldn't see. But they had faced them and emerged, stronger than ever, united in love and resilience. It was time for a new beginning, one built on the strength of the past yet illuminated by the brightness of hope. Now, if you loved this story, you need to subscribe immediately to the channel. You don't want to miss our next exclusive tale that'll keep you on the edge of your seat. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm. It helps us so much. And flood the comments section with your reactions and theories. What did you think of the ending? Don't hold back. Finally, share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Don't wait even one more second to share. Only true fans know what it means to support the channel through these actions.